Hi everybody, LJ Eats here, doing another quick 5-minute video on Data Abyss. Today we're going to talk about the search organizations capability inside Data Abyss. What the search organizations capability is it's an aggregated function of the publications. So what it's doing on the back end is it's aggregating all the affiliations across the publications and putting them in one place where you can search those affiliations. In one location, searching across these organizations. What you'll then see across these organizations is information aggregated about each one of the organizations. We'll do a couple searches in here on Texas, for example, and you'll see the searches aggregated on Texas organizations, the people aggregated, the affiliations, the titles, the publications, keywords, etc., and various graph and dendrogram visualizations to analyze these organizations out of Texas, as an example. So you can search here, basically search Texas, and we can search in English, Texas as an organization. We could additionally search, create this OR function, and search Texas in Chinese as well. So here, what you'll see, Google Translate translated that for us, but these are Texas affiliations in Chinese as well, where the publications are, probably naturally in. It's a Chinese publication. The paper was published in Chinese, which meant the organizational names were published in Chinese. Obviously Texas isn't a Chinese entity, but the publication, the authors potentially. The whole thing about the publication was published within Chinese channels. We could use Google Translate here. We could also, here's your Texas mentioned entities. We can filter on, say, risk, looking for very high risk affiliations. And what you'll see here is the University of Texas at Austin. Here's a publication where they're publishing with the Nanjing University of Science and Technology, School of Economics and Management, and so on. So you see Texas A&M, again Texas State University at Arlington, and so on. We could even look for Texas as a U.S. university collaborations where potentially here's cases where you see Texas and other U.S. universities publishing with a Chinese entity as well of very high risk. You could, let's do this example where you can click on, say, Nanjing, and see where there might be other Texas entities publishing with Nanjing University as well. So you have University of Texas at Arlington, publishing with North University of China in Nanjing, Texas A&M, University of Corpus Christi. We can click on any of these cards and see who, the additional affiliations aggregated, the people, the additional affiliations. So here's an example of Texas A&M, University of Corpus Christi, publishing with AVIC, Luoyang. Again, looks like it's around the 2016 timeframe. AVIC is now a military end user, identified by the Department of Commerce, Bureau of Industry and Security, but they didn't really make the military end user list until I think about 2 years ago. So this was an example of potentially a risky collaboration pre-commerce entity list. Here's a different graph visualizations where you can analyze some of these relationships. You can right-click here on any of these entities, and it'll translate them. And you can also view their data or extend out to their visualization page. Let's look at this example of School of Automation Nanjing, and maybe we want to view their data. Quickly look at their assessment, and jump over to their visualization page where we can assess this entity's collaboration with Texas A&M. But look at this, this entity in aggregate as well. So we see that Nanjing University of Aeronautics and Astronautics is largely affiliated with the PLA. A lot of PLA relationships. So this is a extreme risk entity that we've identified, and you can quickly go through their 664 additional visualizations or affiliations. You can export these affiliations out. These are their extreme risk affiliations, and then here's additional affiliations that this extreme risk entity has across U.S. universities, U.S. entities, Great Britain, Australia, and Canada as well. Again, graph visualizations. This is a dendrogram visualization that's basically analyzing the affiliations of this entity as well. Keywords, other keyword clouds where you can kind of search and assess any of these keywords. Click on them. If you click on them, it'll jump you to Google to learn more about this keyword. And again, the titles and publications over time. This is a well-known big affiliation with 1,095 papers aggregated here. And back to here, we're back originally at this Texas A&M University affiliation, where we can use this dendrogram to assess additional relationships. Here's the titles based on, again, this AVIC and Nanjing, these Nanjing papers and AVIC papers. Over here on the right, you have similar organizations. This is aggregated and based off of similar keywords and titles. So it means that these other entities, Chinese entities, are also publishing similar keywords, similar papers based on these Texas A&M papers. Here you have funding and keywords and titles and other information about this entity. Additionally, we'll go back, there's a marketplace where you can search on Chinese entities based on kind of technology sector. If you wanted to look at Chinese entities focused on hypersonics, and these would be hypersonic labs, hypersonic companies, etc. These would be, we're just going to take off that top publication count filter, and you'll see Hypersonic Aerodynamic Institute, Hypersonic Aerodynamics Research Institute, Air Breathing Hypersonic Technology Research Center, and click on this guy. Maybe we want to learn a little bit more about this entity's affiliations, who they're working with. Again, kind of do this graph analysis. You can expand this out. Do a little bit of graph analysis. You can search Ohio, and we can search on, say, publication counts. This is going to give us a kind of a top level view of the Ohio Chinese entities. So these are the top universities affiliated with Ohio as an organization. But if we want to see just the Ohio entities, we're going to take this total publications filter off, and maybe filter on, say, very high risk. And here you have Ohio State University. They're very high risk entities, medium risk entities, over here on the right. and also maybe instances where they're collaborating internationally with other U.S. universities, universities out of Japan and Canada and Australia, that could also be kind of co-collaborating with Chinese entities, because again, remember, all this data is focused on Chinese publications. And again, we can click on these affiliations and kind of quickly assess their U.S. entity collaborations and allied collaborations, as well as risky affiliations, and all aggregated 537 affiliations that are the mixed Chinese and U.S. and allied affiliations as well. Funding. You can see a lot of various different Chinese funding names, National Key R&D Program funded projects, and keywords: big data, dislocation, gas separation. We could look through these titles. Again, what you'll see is a lot of these publications are actually in Chinese. Let's go back. These are Ohio State University publications, but when they're published through China, they're in the Chinese language. We could use Google Translate to translate these. That's funny. It said this paper was in Chinese, but it's saying it's the English version of that paper. We can click that paper, and it'll bring us to that paper where we can actually view the publication itself. So this looks like it's pretty much just an Ohio State publication, but it was published in Chinese. It's also looks like it's NSF funded, National Science Foundation US version, and here's the award numbers. But what would be curious is if this paper, that's in Chinese, ever made it to NSF in an English version, or if it was only in a Chinese version. Well, that's it. This video was a little bit longer, but I appreciate everybody that stuck through with it. Again, that's a search organizations capability. We're going to also, I've already made some videos on some of these other search capabilities, but stay tuned. Thank you.